Hey guys, I'm Ian Proulx. I'm CEO and co-founder of 1047 Games. I'm also creative director of Splitgate and now Splitgate 2.
And I'm Bagamian, co-founder and CTO 1047. I do a lot of the tech stuff, a lot of the engineering, just make the game happen.
Basically, I'm the guy who has the crazy ideas and he's the guy who actually makes them happen. So we make a good team.
Yeah.
So Splitgate 1 actually started off as an idea I had in high school. I played Portal 2, absolutely loved it, fell in love with that mechanic. Being the kind of Halo Call of Duty kid that I was, I thought to myself, man, this game would be even more fun if it had guns in it. Went to Stanford, studied computer science, and for my senior project, I wanted to kind of put this idea that I had to the test, and so I built a prototype in Unreal Engine of a shooter with portals. Very simple idea, very basic. It had, I think, one gun, one map, very janky controls at the time. So I got about 7 of my friends who had gaming PCs to come over, and I asked them, just play for 45 minutes with me. I gotta make sure this thing works. We ended up playing for about 5 hours straight that day. And that was really kind of that aha moment for me of like, I know I'm onto something. Nick and I had met in our dorm room, 1047. We actually named the company after the dorm where we started this at Stanford. But it was the following year where I decided, all right, I gotta actually do this thing, and convinced my friend Nick, smartest person I've ever met, to go on this crazy journey. And it took me a little bit of convincing, but eventually got Nick to make this game and see where it goes.
Yeah, and we were thinking, we'll just work on it for 6 months, we'll release the game, and then we'll move on with our lives. And we were just completely wrong with the scope of making games at all. As we were developing, there was new things that we needed to make. We had to support multiplayer, matchmaking, all this stuff. Just piled on top of each other, and then ended up being 5 years until we released our final product.
We spent 2 years between 2019 and 2021 just constantly iterating and trying to improve the game. And I think listening to the community is a big part of the reason we were able to have that breakthrough success. I think one of the first things we learned was just the importance of having a good matchmaking experience and onboarding. What we saw was players would come in, they'd typically lose their first game and have no clue what's going on, and then they'd quit. And that was pretty interesting to us because we knew, okay, we have this fun game, but how come people aren't sticking around?
And then our console launch, we learned that we didn't have the server capacity to maintain, and then just a ton of features that we wanted to do that we just didn't have time to do because we didn't plan early on. The scope of the project and the scope of our company kind of increased, and we were trying to retrofit graphics and trying to keep up with the update cadence. We just kind of looked at that and we're like, yeah, there's no way we can do that with our existing code base, our existing content.
So we made kind of the difficult decision of, hey, let's take a step back, let's build this the right way, let's refactor everything, let's upgrade to Unreal Engine 5, and let's really think through this thoughtfully and get it right. So Splitgate 2 is really a successor to Splitgate 1. So when we started off building it, we started with what are the things that make Splitgate unique and special, and what are the things that we want to improve on. It's gunplay, it's portals, it's movement. And so with Splitgate 2, we're taking those 3 things to the next level. A big goal of ours in Splitgate 2 was we wanted to have more meaningful variety with a purpose. One of the first things you'll notice is there's 3 classes or factions, each of which has different weapons, different attachments for those weapons, different perks, different equipments, really leaning into that meaningful variety and a purpose so that you can play the way you want to play. We wanted 90% of what determines a gunfight winner to be who has the better aim, who has the better movement, who has the better portal mechanics. That extra 10% is where the equipment and the abilities come in, but really that's the icing on the cake. Splitgate 2 still feels pretty much like Splitgate 1, but with a few added bonuses. We still have the jetpack. Feels very similar, maybe a little snappier than the first one. Movement very similar, gunplay very similar. But one of the biggest things we've added in Splitgate 2 is our slide mechanic. This was something that we had a lot of requests in Splitgate 1. And ultimately, I think we ended up with a great slide that really honestly highlights and adds to our portal mechanic. Being able to slide through portals, gain momentum, maintain momentum, all the things that you would want. It just goes hand in hand. so power weapons are back and better than ever. We've now revealed the big friendly bat, and it is friendly. Very, very true to the first game, and we know fans love the BFB. We've also got weapons like the rocket launcher, but trying to kind of take it to the next level, and so with the rocket this time around, it's a little bit different. You can zoom in with the rocket to fire one precision rocket with extra speed. It has less splash radius, you gotta get a direct impact to get a kill, or you can fire all three at the same time. You'll get the free kill. You do have that trade-off though of losing all the ammo. And so for us, it's about iterating on what we do well, bringing back fan favorites, and then also some new power weapons that do function totally different than anything we ever had in Splitgate 1. Again, we wanted meaningful variety with a purpose, and so that extends not just to the core gameplay, but it extends to our mode design as well. That means the type of modes we have, each of which is going to give you a very different experience. You might have Hot Zone, you might have TDM, you'll have some fan favorites from the first game, you'll have brand new things on a larger scale than ever. I'd say within each mode, we always start with design goals. And so with Hot Zone in particular, one of our big goals was more epic moments. Because of that capturability of round-based first to two hills, it raises the stakes of every single hill cap. You'll end up with those neck and neck fights where a power weapon or a headshot could be the difference between winning and losing the round. Comparing it to King of the Hill, where it's more of a continuous thing for 10 minutes where one team is just inching further and further away, you don't have those repeated epic moments. And this extends also to our overtime rules. One of the things we've introduced in overtime is when it's round 5 and teams are neck and neck, it's 2-2, we flip the rules on its head and all of a sudden respawns are disabled. This kind of leads to that epic ending. You've got two evenly matched teams going at it, and it all comes down to that final round, raising the stakes, raising the intensity. One of our company values is feedback as a gift, and we apply this in many ways. So part of it is obviously internally. We want to always be pushing each other, elevating each other, but it also extends to how we run this company and how we view our community, which is we want feedback from the fans. That's how we're going to make a great game. We're making this game ultimately for you. Without you, there is no game, and so we want to hear from you guys. We want to know, what do you want us to keep doing? What do you want us to change? What's not working, what's fun, what feels good, and what's missing. And so it's really as simple as that. We view everything we hear from you, even if you're bashing us, like we take it as a gift and we do something about it. Summer Alpha of Splitgate 2 was really an opportunity for us to listen to the fans and get early feedback. We were able to get 100,000+ players into the alpha, get tons of feedback from all of you, and already we've made a lot of great improvements.
Yeah, feedback is what got us here. I mean, all the learnings that we went through with Splitgate, all the stuff that got us where we are today, is the community. So we want to hear from you guys. We want to make a game for you guys. And yeah, that's what we're here for. The changes we made since the Summer Alpha, one of the main things was taking away shared progression from Hot Zone.
And we kind of knew going into it, this is going to be a potentially controversial change. I wanted to test the controversial changes because those are the things we especially need feedback on now more than ever.
Also made a lot of changes to balancing. We increased time to kill.
We knew that the Splitgate 1 time to kill felt good, but we wanted to push the limits and see, hey, if we change it up a little bit, how does it feel? So we shortened it in the alpha, heard the feedback, players wanted it longer again. And so that's what we did. It virtually is exactly the same as Splitgate 1's time to kill now.
And we also changed the way that factions perform as well. We saw that everyone gravitated towards arrows. Everyone loved arrows. Everyone thought arrows was OP.
And so we've made some changes to try to buff the other factions and nerf arrows a little bit. We heard feedback about players wanting to be able to sprint while reloading, which is something you could do in the first game. We've added this, and we've actually taken it a step further to add the ability to slide while reloading, which feels so good. A lot of feedback about maps lacking portal walls and portal jumps in particular. So we've already done a lot to address that. We've added portal walls to all of the alpha maps, and with a number of the maps going forward, we've added more portal jumps. So I'd say the biggest thing that these changes allow for is just more freedom to have fun, to do what you want to do. And so with Splitgate 2, we really wanted things to be as responsive as possible. This started as a college dorm project. There's just a lot that we've learned over the years of like, how can we do this better? What did we do wrong? Whether it's technically, whether it's just building things in a scalable way, whether it's making maps that are better, visuals that are better. We just felt like if we're gonna keep iterating on this thing that really started off as an indie school project, we're never gonna get to where we wanna be. This really is a love letter to Splitgate 1 and truly wouldn't be here without you guys.
This was a lot of fun for us to share what's been in our heads for a long time, and we've been keeping it secret for a few years, and now we're able to share it with you guys, and we want to hear from you.
Head over to our Discord, follow us on Twitter, social media, Reddit. We really read this stuff. We appreciate all the feedback, all the comments. And let us know if you want more of this. I mean, if you guys like this format, we're gonna keep doing it. And if you don't, we'll adjust, just as the case with everything we do. So thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you.